Operant conditioning, also known as instrumental conditioning. It is a learning method. It consists of creating associations between reinforcement, rewards or punishments, and a specific behavior or behavior pattern. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you. Definition of operant conditioning. It is a learning method that uses reinforcement or punishment to increase or decrease the probability of a behavior reoccurring in the future. It was developed by B.F. Skinner. He was an American psychologist. He discovered the power of positive reinforcement in learning. He used the term operant to refer to a specific type of behavior. This was any active behavior that operates on the environment in order to create consequences. In other words, Skinner's theory tried to explain how you acquire most of the behaviors you exhibit on a daily basis. Now let's see in detail B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning. Skinner is regarded as the father of operant conditioning. His work was based on Edward Thorndike's law of effect. According to this principle, behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, and the behavior followed by unpleasant consequences is less likely to be repeated. Edward Thorndike is an American psychologist best known for his theory, law of effect. Skinner introduced a new term into the law of effect, that is reinforcement. Behavior which is reinforced tends to be repeated, that is, it is strengthened, and the behavior which is not reinforced, it tends to die out or to be extinguished, that is, it is weakened. For example, if you tell a funny story in class and everybody laughs, you will probably be more likely to tell the same story again in future. Consider you tell the same story again in another class, but this time nobody laughs. And what happens? You will be less likely to repeat the story again in the future. So if you get a positive reinforcement, the chances are there you repeat that behavior. And if you get an unpleasant consequence, then less likely to repeat the behavior. Now let's see the experiment conducted by B.F. Skinner. He studied operant conditioning by conducting experiments using animals, which he placed in a Skinner box. A Skinner box, it is also known as an operant conditioning chamber. It is a device used to objectively record an animal's behavior in a compressed time frame. An animal can be rewarded or punished for engaging in certain behavior, such as liver pressing. Here in his study, he put a rat in the Skinner box or the lab, and when the rat presses a lever, when a green light is on, the rat receives food pellet as a reward. When the rat presses the lever, when the red light is on, then it receives a mild electric shock. So the rat is inside the Skinner chamber, and when the green light is on and the rat press the lever, then it gets food pellet, and when the red light is on and the rat press the lever, then a mild electric shock is received. As a result, the rat learned to press the lever when the green light is on and avoid the red light. So, this is the study or the experiment conducted by B.F. Skinner. So, this is the operant conditioning. Here, the rat learned to press the lever when the green light is on because it is rewarded by the press of lever. But when the red light is on, it is like a punishment that it received an electric shock. The rat learned to press the lever only when the green light is on. That is the operant conditioning. The operant conditioning is not just something that takes place in experimental setting. It also plays a powerful role in everyday learning. Reinforcement and punishment takes place in natural setting all the time, as well as in more structured settings such as classrooms or therapy sessions. Skinner identified three types of responses or operands that can follow behavior. The neutral response. These are responses from the environment that neither increase nor decrease the probability of a behavior being repeated. Then reinforces. These are the response from the environment that increase the probability of the behavior being repeated. The reinforces can be either positive or negative. Then punishes. These responses from the environment that decreases the likelihood of behavior being repeated. The punishment weakens the behavior. So these are the types of responses. Either it can be neutral, it can be positive or negative reinforcement, or it can be punishment. So, what is positive reinforcement? We have learned that Skinner identified key aspects of conditioning process. It can be reinforcement, either positive or negative, and punishment. So, what is a positive reinforcement? It is a term described by B.F. Skinner in his theory of operant conditioning. In positive reinforcement, a response or behavior is strengthened by rewards, and it leads to the repetition of desired behavior. The reward is a reinforcing stimulus. For example, if your teacher gives you 100 rupees each time you complete your homework, so getting 100 rupees is a reward for you. So you will be more likely to repeat the behavior. That is, you will complete your homework in future, thus strengthening the behavior of completing the homework. So you are getting a reward, you are getting a positive reinforcement, and your behavior is strengthened. That is, the behavior of completing the homework is strengthened. So this is an example of positive reinforcement. Next is negative reinforcement. It is a termination of an unpleasant state following a response. This is known as negative reinforcement because it is a removal of an adverse stimulus. The negative reinforcement strengthens the behavior because it stops or removes an unpleasant experience. For example, if you do not complete your homework, you give your teacher 100 rupees. That is, you will complete your homework to avoid paying 100 rupees, thus strengthening the behavior of completing your homework. So that is negative reinforcement. Next is punishment. It weakens the behavior. Punishment is defined as the opposite of reinforcement because it is designed to weaken or eliminate a response rather than increasing it. It is an aversive event that decreases the behavior that it follows. Like reinforcement, punishment also can work either by directly applying an unpleasant stimulus like a shock after a response or by removing a potentially rewarding stimulus. For example, deducting someone's pocket money to punish undesirable behavior. There are many problems with using punishment, such as punished behavior is not forgotten, it is suppressed. Behavior returns when punishment is no longer present. Then it can cause increased aggression. It shows that aggression is a way to cope with problems. Then the punishment creates fear that can generalize to undesirable behavior. For example, if you get punishment in school, then you can develop a fear of school. And the punishment does not necessarily guide toward desired behavior. The reinforcement tells that what you want to do, but punishment only tells what not to do. So this is about punishment. Now let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned the definition of the operant conditioning and the B.F. Skinner's experiment based on law of effect. Then the type of response. Then key aspects of operant conditioning like reinforcement and punishment. Hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.